Yes, sir.
All right. We are live. Thank you guys so much for being here. A little bit of Phoenix Suns news to talk about on this random Wednesday, August 21st night. And if you guys were tuning in earlier, I was live with my good friend Thunder Stash Gaming as we covered some NBA 2K25 My Team news. And we talked about a lot of different things. I was live for like 2.5 hours. I went to work. I rested, and then I found my second wind, and I was like, you know what? I want to talk about this Nassir Liddell news and talk about some other Suns-related stuff, because I just figured, why not? Might as well just knock it out now, power through it just for you guys, but I couldn't do it alone. I sent out an invite to some good friends of mine, and I want to give a big shout-out to Boyd, who is joining me from the Aussie Suns Fans podcast. We also might be joined by Gavin, maybe later, question mark, we'll see. But either way, we got Boyd in the house from the Aussie Suns Fans podcast. Boyd, how you doing, man?
Awesome, buddy. How the bloody hell are you?
Fantastic, man. Thank you so much for being here, man, to help me tackle this while I find my second wind. And it's going to be a great show, man. Thank you so much for being here.
Man, I'm pumped. Like, whenever we get a little bit of Suns news in this off season, you know, we have had a fair bit to talk about with the Olympics and whatnot. But yeah, when we get news like this, man, we've got to get out there and vent. We need to vent. We need to kick it off of each other, and yeah, let's decide on what we're going to do next.
Yeah, I know, man. I'm excited. Yeah, any news that we can get at this point, we will take it, man. So again, thank you guys for being here. Make sure to Hulk smash that like button. Please subscribe and check out the Aussie Suns Fans podcast. So, Boyd, let's just go ahead and dive right into this. And before I react to one thing, let's just react to what Shams Charania from The Athletic put out earlier. And then there's another tweet that I want to react to. But I was at work earlier and I just feel my phone blowing up. And it was this tweet right here from Shams Charania of The Athletic. Let me just kind of lower us right down here too. And Shams says, the Phoenix Suns are waving forwards Nassir Liddell and EJ Liddell per sources. By releasing both, the Suns open up a roster spot, creating flexibility for signings, which we're going to talk about that later, and trades during the season. Suns will stretch the 3 years and $22 million remaining on Nassir Liddell's deal. And again, he kind of phrased it all in that one tweet that the Suns are opening up a roster spot, and we will tackle that later. EJ Liddell getting waived was no surprise. We've talked about it before, especially with the Tyus Jones signing and all that. We all knew that he wasn't going to play for us at all. And with all due respect to Nassir Liddell, I'm not going to lie to you, man. At one point, I completely forgot he was on the roster. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I feel bad, man. We'll get your thoughts here in a second. Like, I feel bad because I know there's talent there. He did show flashes at times with the Phoenix Suns, but like he just couldn't crack the rotation. The injuries played a factor. So, Boyd, what do you think about this, man? What are your thoughts on the Suns letting go of Nassir Liddell?
Look, I'm not opposed to the Suns letting go of Nassir Liddell in the way that it affects the rotation or the chances of us winning a chip in this upcoming season. It's more so I'm not as fond about the way that it's been dumped and stretched. I know that we're not going to eat that we don't want to eat that full $6 million every season for the next couple, but I also don't want to eat that $3 million for the next couple of seasons, for the next 7 seasons, I believe. So I think that there was a world. I think there was a world where we could have played some value into him somewhere in the rotation, somewhere around that 13th, 12th, 11, 12, 13th man rotation minutes. Got a little bit of value and maybe just got not cash consideration, but maybe a second round pick or something. Or maybe in the world that we're in, where we are very constricted with the second apron, a $6 million contract is better than a minimum contract in regards to moving it and getting something back. So maybe it was a he just gets enough value not to get back draft assets, but maybe we could attach our first round pick that we've got available, and then parlay that into us getting back a proper rotational piece around that $6 million value. So I just feel like it could have been done a bit better. Obviously, there was nothing out there right now, and they want a right now solution. But I just think that there was a world where we could have made better with the Nassir Liddell contract. In saying that, what we're talking about later, in that this will all be, I think that the when we give this a mark out of 10, I think that it's all going to come to light when we see what we do with that roster spot. So
yeah, exactly. That's pretty much what I was going to say. Is we're just reacting to this in live time pretty much. I mean, it's a few hours later, but still we're reacting to it the night of, and we're just going to have to wait and see, man. There's still a lot of off season left to go. And I kind of want to remind not just Suns fans, basketball fans of that in general. There is still a lot of moves that can still be made. Like later, we're going to go through a free agent list of all the remaining free agents that are left. And not only that, I know that a lot of like the trade rumors have died down for a lot of NBA teams. Still a lot of trades that still could happen. Probably not going to happen, but still could happen. So we still got time. We're just going to have to wait and react to this. And as Shawn's put in his tweet, man, maybe this opens up a possibility for a trade. There's still that roster spot open. I don't know. We're just going to have to see. So again, like with all due respect to Nassir Liddell, man, like I wish him the best. I hope he lands somewhere. I don't exactly know where the tweet is. I'll have to find it, but I think he posted on his IG story something about Orlando and then took it down. I don't know if that's true, whatever. But either way, I wish him the best. And real quick, I want to read a quote from the Arizona Republic that I was reading earlier. Quote, continuing to battle injuries as he has throughout his NBA career, Liddell fell out of the rotation and hardly played in the second half of the season. He played 45 games in his 1 year in Phoenix. So real quick, I want to give credit where credit is due here. And you and I were kind of talking about this before the show. I want to give a shout out, and I hope I'm pronouncing this name right. Swavey Keese. He is the host of the Turn My City Up podcast. He has a YouTube channel. I've tuned into some of his work before. He does great work. Always tweeting good things about the Suns. Really a knowledgeable guy. So if you guys can see on my screen here, this was tweeted out at, I believe, 12:30 my time at least. Probably time zones might look different, but 12:30 said hearing Nas Liddell might be on the move. And then at 4:30, that was when Shams put out his tweet. I'm sure there's a lot of backstory to this. I just want to give credit where credit is due. You know what I mean? So I had to shout him out for that. I just thought that was pretty cool. And real quick, because we're just kind of freestyling with this show. We got the Aussies on. I do want to bring on Gavin, another one of the co-hosts of the Aussie Suns Fans podcast. How you doing, Gavin?
I'm wonderful, my friend. Thanks for having us on.
Of course, man. Thank you guys for having me on your channel in the past. Thank you guys for helping me do this, man. Gavin, just real quick, man, I just got Boyd's thoughts on this. Just what was your sort of initial reaction to the Suns letting go of Nassir Liddell?
Look, given the length of his contract, I was a little bit surprised, but ultimately I also thought, it's about time.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to contribute significantly to the roster as it stands, and this opens up an opportunity to bring in another vet that might be able to impact, and I'm sure you're going to run through some names that could potentially do that, but I don't think we're going to see that in the short term either, but at least the opportunity's there. Plus it saves the Suns about $22 million.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because, okay, and I don't know who tweeted all this stuff out first. I don't think it really matters. And I'm not even going to sit here and pretend like I understand the salary cap because I do not. But real quick, before we kind of dive into some salary stuff, this tweet was from July, I believe. July 26th. This was John Gambadoro from Arizona Sports here. And he said the Suns can waive and stretch EJ Liddell before the end of August. Here we are, it's August 21st, so it's almost the end of August, or cut and take the full cap hit and not have any more dead money on the books. The Suns will save $5 million in tax. Now, keep in mind, that was right before the Tyus Jones signing, because I think we signed Tyus Jones like that day or the next day or whatever. But like I said, I don't know who tweeted this stuff out first. I don't think it really matters. But John Hollinger from
That's
The
where I got
Athletic.
it from too.
Yeah, yep. John Hollinger from The Athletic had a tweet here. And I saw like Sam Vecini tweet this out, Gerald Bourget from PHNX. I'm pretty sure they're all similar tweets, but 3.1 million cap charge in 2030-31, aka the Demetrius Jackson special. I'm not sure what he's referencing there, but the Suns will save roughly 40 million in tax penalties over the next 2 seasons based on the current payroll. Phoenix had until August 31st to make this decision. So again, I don't know much about the cap. It gets really confusing. The way that I look at it is this right here.
A lot of boring math later.
Am I right? You know what I mean? A lot of boring math later. So I'm sure the Suns are cooking up something here. Boyd, you got any thoughts on any of this? Or
Hey,
any...
look, that's a very savvy business move.
Yeah.
But I don't care about the tax money because the tax money is separate to the cap money. As a fan, I'm more interested in that $3 million a season being able to be used in our cap rather than the $40 million that it saves the Phoenix Suns coffers, if that makes sense. But that's me being a very selfish fan. That's that perspective.
But I mean, if we sign a replacement for $3 million, it's going to impact that overall $40 million in tax penalties anyway. So if we sign somebody to fill that roster spot, let's say we bring a Jay Crowder in on a vet minimum at $3 million a year, that $3 million is going to be worth $9 million. So overall, the Suns are still going to save $30 million or $25 million by going this route. But we still might be able to, or we still will be able to pick up a player on a vet minimum and bring them in. Whether it's a Jay Crowder or I've seen someone in the comments, Chetty Osman or a Lonnie Walker. Like there's options out there.
Yeah, Gavin. So I can tell that you are one of the co-hosts of the Aussie Suns Fans podcast, because that's kind of what we'll dive into next here. So I literally just went to Google and typed in best available NBA free agents. And the closest one, I believe this is most accurate, is from Hoops Hype here. And we can just react to this in live time. Because, Gavin, that's pretty much what we're doing here, man. We pretty much covered the Nassir Liddell stuff. We're going to react to the best available free agents. And then I got a couple other Suns-related things we're going to react to. And then we'll probably just call it a night after that. But, again, this comes from Hoops Hype here. Let me just fix us on the screen here because this does not look good at all. But okay, so best available free agents, and the number one target according to Hoops Hype here, and I think I agree with this, is Isaac Okoro. And real quick before we start commenting and everything, I can just kind of scroll down. If you guys want to talk about a certain player, just stop me. But Isaac Okoro from Cleveland, he's a restricted free agent.
So
Lonnie
that's
Walker.
I think when as you scroll down these two,
Yeah.
The type of players I could see that the Suns actually looking at are those stretch sort of 3-4s, two-way type players. So Okoro, Chetty Osman, these type of players I think is what is going to fill this spot.
Right. Boyd, you got any thoughts on that, or any thoughts on former Phoenix Sun Landry Shamet, maybe joining the Suns?
Mate, I'd take Landry just for the spectacle of it, just so we can just watch Twitter
meltdown.
Yeah. But look,
CD
Osman is someone that the Suns have coveted for some time.
Yeah.
Look, I like that addition. He can play the 4. He's in there as a small forward, but I'm pretty sure that he's done some time at that 4 position as well. Isaac Okoro, has he got a bit of an injury concern?
Ooh,
He's pretty much had an injury concern since he's come into the NBA.
I think that's accurate. I'm going to look that up real quick, but yeah, I believe he's had a lot of injury issues. But real quick, while I'm looking that up, just on Cedi Osman here, I've always been a fan of Cedi Osman. That's just my personal opinion. It says energy swingman who can do some slashing, spotting up from three. Last year's stats, 6.8 points per game, 2.5 rebounds, 1.7 assists, nearly 48% from the field and nearly 39% from three. And last year he only made 6.7 million. So,
and that's the type of player I think I can see the Suns filling this last spot with. That's somebody who can pop up and hit the three and spread the floor a little bit. I know that we've got some people saying Lonnie Walker and bringing up. I've even seen some stuff around some guards today. With the additions of Tyus Jones and Monte Morris, I just can't see how we're adding guards to this roster spot.
No more guards.
We need the two-way player with length.
Like, let's see what our point guards can do first before we bring on more point guards. You know what I mean? But yeah, I've always liked Cedi Osman. And real quick, just to answer the Isaac Okoro stuff, I pulled up his basketball reference page. You know what? In all fairness to him, he's played in 67 games, 67 games his first two seasons, and 76, 2 seasons ago, and then 69 last season. So 279 games throughout his career.
So he's pretty. Yeah, that's more durable than I thought he was. Maybe it's just the fact that he hasn't been hitting the floor as much because of the players on the roster in Cleveland.
That's the thing. Like, off the top of my head, I thought he was pretty injury prone, but like he's just on a really he's a restricted free agent, I believe, but on a really stacked Cavs team that appears to be running it back too. So maybe he's not in their plan, but again, he is restricted, so they can claim up the contract if they choose to. Should I keep scrolling down here? We can kind of check out some other free agents.
Scroll down. Let's have a look at what's there.
Taylor Horton Tucker.
No, thanks.
No, I don't know. Landry Shamet. Anybody? Any Landry Shamet fans out there? I mean, Markelle Fultz? No, we were talking about point guard. We don't need point guard.
I would have taken Markelle Fultz pre the 2 point guard signing. Doug McDermott's an interesting one.
Yeah, Doug McDermott. Shout out to my boy Josh. That's his cousin, man. So maybe I'll see if there's any inside information there.
40% 3-point shooter. It's kind of the fit that I think we need. That floor spacing now is going to become extremely important for whoever comes in and fills that backup role, and particularly by bringing Josh Okogie back, we just need those guys that can come in and spread the floor a little bit. We know that our team, the best of our team, are mid-range killers. So we need guys that are able to spread the floor for them.
Yeah. Boyd, any thoughts on that?
Doug McDermott is a little bit, he's lost a couple of steps in recent years. So I think he's, I mean, if we didn't have all these other options, I think he's still he'd do a job, but I don't think he's the ideal candidate.
I'm kind of glad you said that, Boyd, because let's be real here. Whoever we do sign, like, I don't think it's going to be like a Tyus Jones level of excitement signing, because I was hyped when we got Tyus Jones. You know what I mean? I was thrilled. I think this is just going to be a serviceable player that makes sense for our team, that we can afford. It's not like we have much money, you know what I mean? Even though Matt Ishbia seems to have all the money in the world. It's not going to be anybody mind-blowing, but I will say this. We have a new kind of salary cap guru guy named Matt Tellem involved. It really does seem like Matt Ishbia, CEO Josh Bartelstein, and James Jones are really connected and talking all of the time. So I feel like it's going to be all four of those guys, Matt Tellem included, that are going to make this decision, plus whatever other front office people are there. And it's going to be somebody that probably not a lot of us are thinking about. You know what I mean? That's kind of why we're scrolling this list. Gavin, I know you said Jay Crowder. I have some mixed thoughts on that. Did you guys see
so do I. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to go backwards to Jay Crowder. I'm very, very much a move forward kind of fan, as Boyd will attest to, and for those
Yep.
of you who are seeing us for the first time, when we move on from a player, I'd prefer to move on from them. I just don't see the point in going back. And if any of the rumours are true that there was a little bit of bad blood, I guess, towards the back end of Jay's time with the Phoenix Suns, particularly around Devin Booker, then Jay Crowder's not an option for me.
And again, I know that liking a tweet isn't like a huge deal or anything, but do you guys remember like a while back when I think it was the Twitter account Suns Are Better? He like tweeted about Jay Crowder, and I responded saying something like, but Jay Crowder would be opposed. And then he tweeted Jay Crowder saying, what do you think, Jay Crowder? And he clicked like or something like that. I don't know. That doesn't mean that Jay Crowder's coming back to the Suns, but I thought that was interesting. I don't know, just throwing that out there. And I think I'm with you.
He had issues. Sorry, I didn't know he had issues with Book.
That's what it seems like towards the back end, and there was plenty of talk about it.
And like, I know we had a different, I think that was still when He Who Shall Not Be Named owner was still around. And obviously Monty Williams was around. And I know that there's new people in charge now and all that stuff, but it's like, I don't know. I think Jay Crowder's time in Phoenix has passed. He had a bad season last year, if I remember correctly. Go ahead, Boyd.
I'm just going to jump up on this little
it.
pedestal of a mountain by myself.
Do it.
And say that Jay Crowder is the medicine. He is the medicine that the Phoenix Suns need.
You thought he was going to be the next point guard.
That was all jokes and stuff, but
sure, it was, man.
and the GM and the co-owner and also the facilities guy. But that's all some internal jokes there. But I think that Jay Crowder, from a defensive connectivity, as a glue guy, as a thick body in that 4 position, can stretch the floor in a limited role to what he had previously. I think that he is perfect, especially given the lack of defensive intensity that we saw in this squad last season. And I think that when Jay Crowder left the Suns, I think that there was a lot of we missed him a lot in what he brought defensively. So I just think he's that perfect connect guy, and I think that he'd be really good for the young guys as well. He's a take no shit type of a player, and I think he's perfect.
I'm so glad I got both of you on this channel to have this kind of engagement, to have those kind of opinions. I love it. I do see the vision. I see both of your guys' visions. I see it, man. But I don't know, man. But you might be right,
I've got a vision for you, and I actually think that I don't think we filled this before this spot on the roster. Personally, I don't think we fill this spot on the roster until after some of these contracts become tradable. So December 15, January 15. And I wouldn't be surprised if our two-way rookie is actually elevated to this spot rather than us filling it with somebody external.
Jalen Bridges is his name. I'm excited for him. He seems like a cool dude, by the way. I watched a couple interviews with him even before he was a Phoenix Sun. The Pacers had him on for an interview. Nice 3-and-D wing player, man. I know it's like a cliche thing, but that's like what the NBA is full of, a lot of 3-and-D wings. And I've always believed in any era of basketball, if you are a wing player, you probably would have thrived, even if it was like way back in the 50s, you know what I mean? Like you would have thrived as a 3-and-D wing in any era. And the cliche thing is you can never have enough wings. He's young, talented, good size, good frame and everything. I like him, man. And remember, in Sham's tweet, and from what I saw other people tweeting too, it said like the Suns front office and top execs are like really believing in Ryan Dunn and Oso Iguodaro. Like, Boyd, you were live with me during the draft. Like, I was thrilled when we got Ryan Dunn, man. I still am. So
I think there's a real possibility that we see that 15th roster spot sit idle, and it be a means for us to move later on during the season, because I think Shams did say in that tweet, he said that there's a view for the Suns to give more time, to use this as an opportunity to give more time to Dunn and Iggy. So There's definitely a world where that is what we do. But in saying that, I think I think we get a vet right now, a guy and a Coro, someone who's going to become trade eligible again before the deadline, and we see what we have, and it could return value for us in a trade by that time. So there's always that opportunity there as well. So I don't think that we sleep on it. I think that we should act on it and put a body there.
I like it. I like the aggression, man. That's what we
but
need.
upgrading Bridges is putting a body there.
Ooh.
It is, but he's happy where he is,
and it's no additional cap hit. Why you think he's happier being a two-way player than a fully contracted player?
Well, he's content right now. Otherwise, he wouldn't have bloody signed it, mate. So he is. He's on our leash. He's a. We can play that card later. He's there. He's ours. For now.
The only thing with the Coro and it's just, I think he might command a little more money. That's the thing. I think the money might be the problem. But if we could land him somehow in a very unlikely scenario, that's literally the icing on the cake for this offseason.
So are you telling me he's still a restricted free agency and he's a free agent? He's a restricted free agent right now.
Mm-hmm.
If he was to accept a minimum from us, that'd get
Cleveland could match.
Yeah,
Cleveland could match.
Yeah,
but it depends on what they've decided to do internally. If they've decided that Isaac Okoro leaving their team is fine, then they'll let Isaac Okoro leave.
Exactly.
They may have a different roster construction in mind, which is why they haven't re-signed him, because they could go to him and go, look, you're still a free agent, which means no one wants you. We'll give you a minimum right now. But they haven't done so yet. And I think, look, Isaac Okoro has the ability to be a younger version of Jay Crowder. So I'm okay with Isaac Okoro. He's solid defensively. He can shoot the ball from outside. Yeah, look, I think I'd rather see Okoro than I would Crowder.
But here's the thing with Okoro. His qualifying offer because that's his rookie scale contract, and I think he was like a mid like around, he was in the lottery, wasn't he? Isaac Okoro.
Yeah, he was a lottery pick. Yeah,
so
2020.
His qualifying offer, you're looking at what the value back then of that fourth or fifth year of a rookie scale contract would be a lot more than a minimum. So in his interest, he'd be best off taking that qualifying offer from the Cavaliers. But who knows? Maybe there's a world where he's been inspired by what Tyus Jones has done and the vision in Phoenix, and he wants to get with us. Maybe we've started something here, guys, and it's the hot spot right now. Maybe he's willing to take.
I like the optimism, Boyd. I like it, man. Thank you both for going back and forth there, man. I appreciate it. Real quick, Boyd and Gavin, I completely forgot about this. I'm looking them up now on a. Have you guys heard of a Spot Track? They do a great job of like contracts and NBA contract, all kinds of sports. They're great for contracts, but I forgot he was the 5th pick in the 2020 draft. And I know the 2020 draft isn't like super great or anything, but they've actually produced some pretty high quality NBA players. He was the 5th pick, man. Clearly hasn't lived up to that pick, but still. And I'm just looking up this contract here. He signed a 4-year, $29 million deal with the Cavs, which is an average salary of $7.2 million. And he is a restricted free agent. So I just had to double check that. I completely forgot that he was the 5th pick.
So in the way that would be constructed would be there'd be a lower number in the first year of their rookie scale contract, and then you have your general increases, right? So he's probably looking at around about a qualifying offer around about the $10 million mark.
11.8 million, actually.
11.8. There you go. So yeah, I mean that's massive. If someone like that was willing to to take a minimum, which I think it's a silly road to go down in hoping for it to happen. But if it did, we'd be lucky buggers, that's for sure.
I just think, and I'm guilty of like tweeting stuff out like this, but I just think because we're Phoenix Suns fans, we can get anybody. Like I have a hot take, and I never make hot takes that Stephen Curry is going to be a future Phoenix Sun one day. That's my hot take. I never make hot takes, so I just think we
Hey,
can get anybody.
I was one of them guys on that bloody boat with LeBron signing a minimum with us. So it's nice in theory. It's really nice in theory, and it's nice to think about. But yeah, we get brought back down to earth more often than not. So yeah.
So real quick, guys, because we're already at the 30-minute mark, because I'm just so glad I got both of you guys on to help me cover this and talk about it.
Mostly me, you're happy about. We were talking pre-pod, and Sunsgeeks, I'm happy I got you, Boyd. Gavin's just an extra. He's just an extra here. So yeah, mostly me.
I did not say that. Don't put words in my mouth.
Sorry, I would not believe a word this man says.
That's your co-host, man.
Yeah, and that's why I won't believe a word he ever says.
So just real quick, guys, any final thoughts on, I feel like we did a pretty good job of covering this. I know we didn't go over every single free agent, but any final thoughts on Nassir Liddell, free agency, or do you think we did a good job covering it? Any of y'all can go and give your final thoughts on this. Then we'll kind of move on to the other stuff I got here.
I think there's a world where Nassir Liddell plays up to that $6 million that he was promised. And it could be not a regretful move, but we could be like, oh, well, maybe we should have held on to him. Maybe we could have gotten something back. I think that there's a world where that plays out, and it's a little bit of egg on our face, but pending what we do, like I said before, pending what we do with that roster spot.
Nassir Liddell, good luck. Good luck in China or the Philippines or wherever it is you end up.
He's not going overseas.
You are not an NBA standard player, and you will not contribute anywhere else.
Whoa, that's a hot take, man. Jeez Louise. I don't agree. Yeah, I don't agree with that at all. You're getting removed temporarily. That is I have to play this. I'm sorry. Oh my god. So I think he's an NBA quality player.
That's what Gavin does to me all the time.
I know that was strange. Usually I'm the one controlling that, so that was a little bit strange.
You're like, wait a minute, look, can I get back in?
Good luck to Naz. I don't think, looking at who is still around in free agency and the top up of the draft this year, I don't think Naz gets picked up. That's my honest opinion. I think he'll stick around. He'll probably play a bit of G League, and if he can perform well in G League, then there's a chance that somebody does upgrade him or sign him on a two-way from there. But honestly, I think he was lucky to get the contract he got. It was still 3 years, $22 million or whatever it was that we had to waive off the books with him. I just don't. The Suns dangled him out there for. There's no doubt they dangled him out there for a trade for nothing, and couldn't get anything back. And the reason being is that there's better 3-and-D wings out in the NBA currently, and Nass just doesn't do enough with his three-point shot. So I think that restricts him fairly heavily, and he'll struggle to get a roster spot anywhere else this year. Maybe Washington, because they don't have any NBA quality players.
I've been, for some reason, strangely, probably because I'm a geek about this stuff, no pun intended, I've been strangely fascinated about the Washington Wizards rebuild, because they literally tore it down from the ground. And boy, you probably heard me talk about this during the draft. They don't have many good players, and their GM and their like owner and all that have said this rebuild is going to take a very long time. So they can maybe take a flyer on a Nassir Liddell and see what happens.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
But Abdi Masspirit, he's been hounding you to answer his question about Rocco.
Yeah, I was about to get to that. Robert Covington. Maybe a few years ago, I would have been down.
Can he still even play?
I'm like, I don't know how much there is left with him. I'm not saying he's going to like retire tomorrow, but he'll still be in the league. But maybe if it was a few years ago, I would have said, hell yeah, let's go get him right now.
I think bringing Robert Covington in will give us a complete and utter rehash of bringing Eric Gordon in this year.
Ooh.
It's the same thing.
Vibes.
Gavin's got the hot takes tonight. Jeez.
It's the same thing. You're going to bring in a guy.
He's a better defender, though. He's a better defender than Eric Gordon.
I don't think he's that much of a better defender. He's just taller. So obviously that gives him an advantage. And look, the guy can shoot okay from outside,
he's
but
decent.
I mean, really, that would be our Eric Gordon move of this year if we brought him in. Is kind of the way I see Robert Covington.
And real quick, not to like change subject or anything, but I just want to give a couple shout outs to people in the chat here. I'm not even going to try to butcher that name, but he says, Suns Geek, always on top of the Suns news. We appreciate it. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much for the kind words. Michael Evans with sort of a troll comment here. Hope we win a playoff game this year. I'm not going to lie. That's actually kind of funny. Felix said, I just hope Book stays forever when things go bad, and they will. What are you talking about, man? But I agree with the first part. Devin Booker, I hope he's literally a Phoenix Sun for life. And also, I just want to shut this down too. No, none of the Morris twins are ever going to play for the Phoenix Suns ever again. And if they do, then I will eat a hot pepper live on my channel because I hate spicy food.
Espo will cry.
Espo will cry. Espo will cry. I will cry. Y'all, that's not going to happen. If it does happen, like I said, I will eat a hot pepper on this channel. And I hate spicy stuff. So, yeah, just wanted to shut that down real quick. So, like I said, guys, because I know y'all probably got to get going soon. I was only going to do this for like an hour. We're going to dive into some fun Phoenix Suns stuff here. But if anybody has a question, comment, get it in the chat right now. We'll probably go live for like another 20 minutes or so. So, Gavin, this is just kind of the fun stuff here. I wanted to react to some stuff. And the first thing we got is actually a picture. I think Nerkish posted this on his Instagram story, and I'm sure y'all have seen it. He's been posting like workout things on his IG story and pictures. It looks like Nerkish has slimmed down, man. And I don't think I've really talked to any of you guys about it because obviously this is the first show we've done in a long time. And I guess I'll kind of put you guys on the spot here. What are your guys' thoughts on Nerkish? Because I've been sort of the unpopular opinion. I don't want us to trade Nerkish, man. I think he's really worked on his game. I think he's still going to be a good fit with this Phoenix Suns team. I do not want Nerkish traded right now. But look at him, man. He looks good. Like, he looks lean. Looks like he's been putting in the work in the off season. What do you guys think, man? Any of y'all can go.
Sexy as fuck. He's looking good, and it's going to translate onto the floor. My only thing is that my only concern is the fact that is he going to lose that
strength,
that banging,
yep,
in the middle stuff that we covet so highly. But man, no, this is great. What it means is that we might see a guy that doesn't get lost on the perimeter as much. He might be able to hang a bit more with some wings and guards.
Yep, I agree.
And from all accounts, he's working on that 3 game. So are we going to see a more versatile 3 and D type of a center here, like that?
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
That we all sort of want so bad. But yeah, man, he's looking good. Sexy man.
Gavin, what do you think?
Couple of key things for me here. Number one, I'm loving the book Rattlesnakes.
Right,
that he's rocking.
Good eye. That's a good eye, man.
I've got those, so
Nice.
I saw those and went, well done, Nerk. Number two, that comment that's next to the picture is hilarious. So well done, readers. He is looking really, really good. I'm in your camp, Geek. I still think that he was a really good fit. His playoffs performance was poor, but his durability and his ability to impact during the season, I thought, was as good as what we want to see out of our Sun center. So, I think that the other thing that's going to suit him quite significantly is this year's backup is Miles Plumlee instead of Drew Eubanks, and I think that'll help because that'll take a little bit of additional pressure off him when he's not on the floor.
Preach. Thank you both. I love what y'all said. I am excited for Nerkish, man. And you might be right, Boyd. Maybe he might lose a little bit of that sort of or whatever you want to call it, down low, battling, big men and all that. But I think he's in shape now, working on that 3-point game. And don't forget, for what it's worth, he was with Mike Budenholzer, not too long ago. And they took a photo together, and I was like, yeah, he's not getting traded. Like, I give it like a 1% chance, at least right now anyways. anything could happen. Like DeAndre Ayton was traded in September. You know what I mean? So like anything could happen, but I just don't think he's going anywhere. I had to react to that picture. On previous live shows, I've reacted to more Nerkish stuff. I am excited. So, two more things we're going to get to here. I saw this earlier from Stat Moose. They do great work over there. I just thought this was cool for all you Suns history fans out there. Shawn Marion in his career, 15 points per game, 8.7 rebounds, one and a half steals, 1 block, 2011 NBA champion with the Dallas Mavericks, 4-time All-Stars. Crazy, only 4 times. Feels like a lot more, but he was in an elite era. 2-time All-NBA, All-Rookie team, 31 retired by the Phoenix Suns. Hall of Famer? Question mark. Now, let me remind you before you guys comment, it's not the NBA Hall of Fame. It is the Basketball Hall of Fame. So let's start with Gavin on this one. Gavin, what do you think, man? Hall of Famer? Question mark.
No, because he went to Dallas.
Oh, okay. Boyd?
Look, yeah, statistically, I think so. I think that he played a major part in changing that position too, into what it is today with his first on both sides of the court and stretching the floor. But hey, didn't he retire? Like originally, he retired a Mav, didn't he? Didn't he do that?
I believe so.
Now, when he did the whole retired jersey thing with the Suns, did he sort of renege on that Mavericks retiring as a Mav? Is he now retired as a Sun? I want to know that before I start throwing any more accolades at him.
Pretty sure he retired as a Mav.
That's a good question, though. Good
question. But your points are spot on, and I was being petty because it's the Mavs. But but yeah, look, he did change the way that position was played in basketball, and I think that's the type of impact you have to look at when you're talking about Basketball Hall of Fame. Should he be in the Phoenix Suns Hall of Fame? Absolutely.
Yep.
Should he be in the Basketball Hall of Fame? Well, he should definitely be considered, just given the impact that he had on the game while he played. So, yeah, he should absolutely be considered. Is it a travesty if he doesn't make it? I don't know about that.
Yeah, like I don't know if he's like a first ballot Hall of Famer, but he should, second, third, ballot and everything. I think so, because again, it is the Basketball Hall of Fame, and we could spend a whole podcast on this in the future. There's a big argument nowadays that like the NBA, or excuse me, not the NBA, the Basketball Hall of Fame needs a kind of an overhaul. You know what I mean? Like you need more accolades, more stats to get in. But again, basketball's been around since the 1950s. Well, the NBA has. I believe it's 1946 when the NBA started. But basketball's been around since like the late 1800s, I believe. So it's like maybe it needs an overhaul, but right now that's probably not happening. I think Shawn Marion is a Basketball Hall of Famer, already retired in the Suns Ring of Honor. I just thought that'd be a fun little segment there. So moving on real quick, you guys. Speaking of the Phoenix Suns and their history, now this is everyone's going to have their own opinion on this one. And the Suns literally posted this picture today. I thought it'd be fun to talk about. What is your favorite Phoenix Suns logo of all time? And you guys can see the logos here. Boyd, you can start with this one, man. Do you even have a favorite Suns logo of all time? Is it on this list?
Well,
what are your picks, man?
I love them all. I love the simplicity of number 8.
Yep.
And but I love the history of number 10. That old
same here.
Is that old English? Just the text. It's obviously not something. It's not Larry enough, but it's gets me warm and fuzzy. But yeah, if I was to pick one, I'm going with number 8.
Gavin, what's your favorite Suns logo?
Number 1 for me, that's when I started following the Suns, and it's always the one I'll remember. It's always the one that sticks out to me.
There you go.
That number 1 logo that's synonymous for me for the Suns.
Great.
I do love number 8. I agree with Boyd. The simplicity of number 8 is fantastic. But if somebody's holding a gun to my head and saying pick one, I'm picking number 1 every time.
Yeah. I'm a little bit old school. I mean, obviously, I love number 1. I think I agree with you. That's probably my favorite one, but I'm a little old school. I love number 7. I don't know why. That one, that's like the Dick Van Arsdale's, Alvin Adams kind of era right there. Sort of number 4 as well. And I guess number 10. But you guys get the point. I just love that old school logo. I love it. I've seen t-shirts that have that logo on it. And over the years, I've kind of warmed up to number 6. At first, I hated that logo. That was like when we had like Gerald Green and Goran Dragic and all that. But I've warmed up to that logo. But yeah, number 10's badass too. I love that one. I don't know, but I thought that would be a fun little segment. Put in the comments right now, you guys. What is your favorite Phoenix Suns logo? We're live.
I'm with Fabio though. Number
Fabio.
6 is the worst.
6, yeah. The one that I've warmed up to.
I hate it.
It's
I hate
okay.
it so much.
Everybody has their opinion, man.
It's the only logo that they've ever released that I truly did not like.
It's okay, man.
What the fuck is going on with number 9?
That was like the early 2000s, like 2002, I believe. That kind
looks like it's drunk.
That was before we like changed the jerseys, before we got Steve Nash. You know what I mean? That was that kind of quote era, if you will. I like how Ivan says 1, 5, and 8 are the only acceptable ones. That's so good. So, guys, we're live with the Aussie Suns Fans podcast. We can just honestly talk about whatever. I have a couple more things to go to if we need something to talk about, but anything y'all want to talk about and put y'all on the spot right here. It can be Suns related, it can be NBA related.
I've seen something else this morning.
Okay.
And I wanted to run this past you guys.
Yeah, go for it.
Now, we've spoken a lot about this over the past couple of years, but I saw a lot of different answers and a lot. Devin Booker is about to enter his 10th season as a Phoenix Sun, right?
Yes, sir.
10th season in the NBA. This question, when people have answered it previously, have always said, well, we want to see him play as much as a Nash or whatever. Is Devin Booker the greatest Phoenix Sun of all time now? 10 seasons. He's gone to the NBA Finals. He's a 2-time Olympic gold medalist. I know that the main point of difference is going to be the MVPs that people might talk about. But from an impact perspective and what he's given to the team, what's your thoughts on Devin Booker as the greatest Sun of all time now that he's entering his 10th season?
This is complicated for me to answer. And it's just because you can see my wall, all the Suns legends that are right here. And I know you referenced the MVPs and all that. I want to say yes, but it's like Steve Nash, Charles Barkley, Alvin Adams, etc. It's like, but he's in my top 3, top 2. So I know that doesn't really answer your question, but I do agree with you. The impact that Devin Booker has had on this franchise, and somebody referenced it earlier, like, I want to see Devin Booker play here throughout his whole career. He didn't leave when things were bad. He could have requested a trade. He didn't do that. Now things are good. He loves Phoenix. I always say that on this channel. He loves Phoenix, man. He's one of the greatest Suns ever. And it's okay if everybody says Devin Booker is the greatest Sun ever. That is fine. But I want to wait till his career's over. So, Boyd, what do you think, man?
Yes, he is. He's fully ingratiated himself, and he's pulled us out of one of our largest slumps in franchise history.
Oh, God.
He's pulled us out and taken us higher and higher and higher, man. He's definitely the greatest Sun of all time. Barkley was a smash and grab, a 4-year tenure.
Yeah.
Barkley's the reason I'm a Suns fan. I love Barkley.
I love
He's one of my favorite players of all time. My favorite player of all time. I named my child after Charles Barkley.
Yeah.
So and I named my dog after Book. But definitely 4 years versus 10, and what he's been through with this club is definitely puts him up on that pedestal for mine. Steve Nash.
I was going to say, with the Nash thing, though, Nash obviously went to Dallas. We bought Nash back. We had Marion
Shawn Marion.
and Shawn Marion at that time when Nash came back, right?
Yep.
See
Yeah.
that's a big difference maker for me, is that Book was part of the roster we built to bring in these other guys. Nash came back to that roster and then won his MVPs.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. And that's where a lot of people will get into the whole like, oh, well, Steve Nash only won 2 MVPs because of the system, the run and gun. And there is an argument to be made that like Kobe Bryant, may he rest in peace, only won 1 MVP. You know what I mean? Just saying. But, it's fair. Like Fallen Founder, shout out to the Suns Planet podcast. It says, I rank him 3rd after Nash and Barkley. I just want his career to, let's fast forward like 10 years. We'll see what Booker does. But he is one of the greatest Phoenix Suns ever.
I'm going to ask you this question on our mega pod after we win the championship this year, Sunsky.
Let's go.
And after Devin Booker's brought the first championship to Phoenix, and if anybody after Devin Booker brings the first championship to Phoenix says it's not Devin Booker, then we're going to have problems.
I agree with you. Yeah. If Devin Booker gets us an NBA championship, he is the greatest Phoenix Sun ever. Build him a statue, build Matt Ishbia a statue, Budenholzer, etc. Yep, I 110% agree with you on that. Real quick, though, one of the greatest Phoenix Suns players ever, and I'm going to say that now, is Grayson Allen. I love Grayson Allen. Sign him to a 10-year-long contract. I want him on this roster forever. I don't care what anybody says. But we do have a question, though, because this might kind of round out our show here. How do you think the recent roster changes will affect teams' chemistry? And what are the biggest challenges we face this upcoming season? I'll tackle the first question first. I don't think it's really going to affect it much because if you guys didn't notice, there's a lot of continuity. Shout out to Monty Williams. He used to love that word. Continuity coming back. And I think the players that we got fit our system. We might be even better. On paper, in my personal opinion, we are better. My very biased personal opinion. Biggest challenges, man, we could spend a whole podcast on that. I mean, obviously, we got to stay healthy. There's going to be a lot of tough games out there. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take time to kind of get into our rhythm and flow. You know what I mean? So, Boyd, I feel like we haven't heard from you in a while. What do you want to answer one of these questions?
I want to answer them both.
Go for it.
So we have ultimately, that old bloody chestnut. Hey, the fish rots from the head down. I don't think that these moves that we're making, around the middle are going to affect the chemistry as a whole. If one of the heads has an attitude issue or whatever, I think that's where I think that's where it starts. I think that if we get that the give a fuck that we missed last year from our top 3, or top 2 really, I would say, I think the rest works itself out. We didn't bring in any cancers. Tyus Jones isn't a cancer. Monte isn't a cancer. These guys are all excited to play with our head guys. So no, I don't think that the chemistry is going to be affected. And the second question, our biggest challenges is going to be what I said before. It's going to be buy into a system and starts at the top. Buying into the Budenholzer system, and health. Really, it's always health.
Yeah, preach, man. Gavin, what do you think, man?
Yeah, look, I'm of the opinion that our roster does have continuity this year. Mm-hmm. The changes we've made are all sort of at the bottom end. What we've done really well with the roster changes this year is address what a lot of us saw as shortcomings last year. So the ability to maintain possession of the ball, control the ball, not have so many turnovers. We've addressed that with Tyus Jones and Monte Morris coming in. They're obviously going to enter and push into that rotation around the guards rotation. The other issues, well, as both of you said, with health, health is always going to be an issue. Hopefully we do see the durability that we saw from KD last year, from Nerkish last year. Those guys who everybody had fears on being injured last year really didn't, except for Beal, obviously, where we had the problems. I'm really looking forward to Bradley Beal getting a bit of momentum out on the floor as well. I think towards the back end of the season, we started to see that just before the playoffs. Didn't have the greatest of playoff series, but now he's played sort of 25, 30 games as part of this. That rolling into this season, I think is exciting for what we're going to see coming up, particularly if they push Grayson Allen to the bench and sort of start Book at the 3. Now, people will say, well, Book's the best shooting guard in the competition. Yes, he is. But he also showed how good he was at the 3 in the Olympics by basically being the unsung MVP of that entire Team USA team, playing in the 3. And with Tyus Jones on the floor, he's going to get a lot more off-ball opportunities for shots. So the bottom end, what we've done, we also had an issue with length. And we've addressed that, but with the young guys. And I'm okay with that. Bringing in your Iguodaro and bringing in your Ryan Dunn and Jalen Bridges getting an opportunity. That's what I wanted to see the Suns do this offseason, was bring some young guys in, because the standout or the breakout type players that come into the league are generally those tall, long wings that could shoot a little bit. I know Ryan Dunn's got some issues with that, but we've got those players that have got the ability to have a bit of length on the defensive end. Ryan Dunn's clearly a strong defender already, or showing signs of. Bridges can spread the floor. I think that's fantastic. So when you're talking about the challenges that we face, we've addressed a couple of the main key challenges that we had last year with ball control. We probably still haven't addressed the rebounding challenge that we had last year. That's my biggest concern at the moment. I'm still concerned about that. And defensively, I'm still a little bit concerned about that, which goes back to what Boyd was saying before. If we can bring a vet in who can add an element of toughness around that defensive end of the floor as well as spread the floor, I think that we've addressed probably another one of those key areas. Although I'm looking forward to seeing what Ryan Dunn can do on the defensive end as well if he gets into the rotation.
Well done, Gavin. Well done. That was well said. I agree, man. You guys, I know that.
But well said. Bit long-winded. He can really waffle on this guy.
This is an opportunity. This is an opportunity where you're not taking the entire podcast, because that's what happens on the Aussie Suns Fans podcast. It's just you talking for an hour and 20 minutes.
Come on now.
Speaking of the Aussie Suns Fans podcast, I did put it in the chat. So if everybody wants to go and subscribe, I'll also put it in the description. You guys have been generous enough to have me on your channel. And the last time I was on your channel, I had way too much alcohol. I promise that will never happen again. I mean, I will drink on your channel.
It was good fun. It was good fun. What are you
I was so under the influence. I will never do that again. But I will have a few drinks with y'all and behave myself. But again, seriously,
you are welcome. You're welcome on with us anytime you like. You know that.
Thanks, man. Right back at you guys. We got to do this more often. I'm glad I was able to get you guys on my channel for a change. And seriously, whether you guys are watching for the first time or you've been subscribed to Suns Geek for a while, check out the Aussie Suns Fans podcast. Can't wait to see what you guys do this season. I hope to be a part of your channel. And I think that's pretty much it, you guys. I think this was a great show. Covered everything I wanted to cover. And thank you both for being great co-hosts here and helping me get through this. I really do appreciate it. So any final thoughts before we get out of here? Gavin, any final thoughts, man? Then we'll get to Boyd.
No, mate, thank you again for having us on. I always love jumping on and talking Suns basketball. So appreciate any opportunity, and the content you roll out is fantastic. So always welcome. Follow it. Make sure you follow us at Aussie Suns Fans on YouTube and Twitter, or X, or whatever it is you want to call us. And Boyd will tell us where to find us on Instagram, because he's our Instagram king and master.
Let's go.
At this point in time.
Let's go.
Hey, Geek, thank you very much. But yeah, I'm running the Instagram page, and I don't know how to use Instagram. And we got like 60 followers, man. So I'd love to get like 65. I'm still working it out over there. But it's always a hoot. If anyone ever wants to jump on, like, Geek, you're always welcome. We enjoy having you on.
Thank you.
The more piss in your skin, the better, if you ask me. Sorry guys.
It's Charles himself.
Yep.
This isn't Charles. This is Joey.
I know.
This is my other one. This is Joey. But yeah, even just randoms in the chat. We even invite you guys on from time to time to host with us. So yeah, hit us up.
I love it, man. I love it. Can't wait to work with you guys again. Thank you for everybody that tuned in. Thank you to everybody who's going to be watching along later. Hulk, smash that like button. Please subscribe. Check out the Aussie Suns Fans podcast. God bless you guys. Stay safe out there. Peace out. Win or lose, Phoenix Suns for life. And I'll see you guys next time. Go
Suns.
Suns.
What's up, Suns?